This channel already told you sleep runs on a switch you can flip. What it did not have room for is the mechanism underneath it. And it turns out the same switch, thrown the other way, is also how you wake up. At night, heat moves out through your skin and your core cools. That is the whole mechanism of falling asleep. At dawn, the same body raises its own temperature and floods itself with a hormone built to do the opposite. This film goes deeper than the switch, into the numbers behind it, several of which turn out not to be what get repeated. Here is the actual measurement behind warm feet help you sleep. As sleep approaches, your hands and feet warm by about a degree, and your trunk by about half that, narrowing the gap to your core. A wider gap at bedtime predicts a longer wait to fall asleep. This is not folk wisdom. It is a nature paper. The number that usually gets repeated for this trick is wrong on 2 counts. The real bathing studies use 40 to 40.5 degrees for 30 minutes, not 15. And what actually rises about 0.7 of a degree is your core, measured rectally, not your skin. Skin rises more than that. The 2 numbers get swapped constantly. Why raise your core at all if the goal is to cool it? Because the rise is what opens your blood vessels at the skin. Once you step out, that same skin dumps heat fast, and your core falls further and faster than it would have on its own. The bath is not the mechanism. The heat leaving afterward is. No bathtub? The feet alone do most of the work in the Kräuchi finding. Dense capillaries, a lot of surface area for their size. A warm foot soak triggers the same vasodilation and heat release as the bath. Faster because there is simply less body to heat first. Cold feet are not a minor discomfort here. They are the mechanism running backward, vessels staying narrow instead of opening. Nicotine is a well-documented vasoconstrictor, which is the ordinary pharmacological reason smokers report cold feet at bedtime more often. This is not the sheep chapter. This channel already showed counting does nothing. This is the brain switch's real mechanism, monotony itself. A simulator study put drivers through an unchanging landscape and a visually varied one for the same 40 minutes each. The monotonous one produced measurably worse vigilance, isolated from plain fatigue, because the time behind the wheel was identical. A dull book before bed works on the same principle as the boring stretch of highway. An unchanging, low-stimulation input gives your brain nothing to track, and vigilance drops on its own. That is the actual reason a bombastic film keeps you awake, and a flat, familiar chapter does not. You already know the 2-alarm trick, 20 minutes apart, catching light sleep instead of deep. Here is what actually moves in that window. Cortisol is at its lowest around midnight, drifts up through the last hours of sleep, then spikes 50 to 100% in the first 30 to 40 minutes after you actually wake. It does not peak at dawn. It peaks after you wake. On a night shift schedule, it does the same thing at 3 in the afternoon. Cortisol wakes the engine, light shuts the other one off. Whatever melatonin is still in your system when bright light hits your eyes drops to roughly 1/10 of where it was. That is the actual chemistry behind open the curtains. Not a mood, a suppression curve. You already heard that breakfast lifts your temperature and locks the rhythm in. Here is the mechanism a Waseda University study found in mice. And it is not simply skip breakfast, get fat. Mice fed on a delayed first meal schedule showed a measurable phase shift in the clock genes, running their liver, fat, and muscle tissue. And that shift drove both fat gain and muscle loss together. Not weight from eating less discipline. Breakfast is not fuel with good timing. It is a timing signal that happens to come with fuel. 2 practical tips from the book, kept because they are useful, labeled because no search here could pin either to one specific study. Chewing your breakfast properly rather than rushing it is offered as an alertness aid. And coffee works better paired with conversation than drunk alone. The book's claim, not a cited finding. Because a caffeine cutoff 8 hours before bed still applies no matter who you drink it with. Alcohol is not a sleep aid wearing a disguise. It works through the same GABA-A receptor system as older barbiturate sedatives. It gets you under fast. That is exactly the problem. Alcohol forces the same GABA switch this film opened with, but chemically, not on your body's own schedule, which is why it suppresses REM sleep, concentrated in the first half of the night. It also blocks the hormone that normally keeps you from needing the bathroom overnight, which is the actual reason a heavy night of drinking wakes you up. Heat leaving your skin puts you down at night. Cortisol and light bring you back up at dawn. Same switch, same body, opposite direction. And now you have the actual numbers behind it, corrected where the popular version got them wrong. Subscribe for the rest of this series.